One of the most common things I like to use my embroidery machine for is to stitch out things like words, sayings, names, monograms, and it can be a little bit clunky to do it on the machine display itself. So we're going to do sort of a back to basics tutorial, and I'm going to show you how you can do this all on a computer, create a design, and then transfer it to the embroidery machine so that you don't have to do it just on that little tiny display. So buckle up, this is going to be a fun one. I know it's been a while. I checked and I did a video very similar to this about 5 years ago, and it's been way too long. So we are going to do sort of a refresher. By the way, I'm Jen with the Sewing Report. This channel is all about making sewing fun and approachable. We're going to be using two different things. Embroidery software, a very good basic staple, and I'm going to be getting some free designs from a website that sells designs and fonts. This is the software I will be using. It's called Embrilliance, and there are several different tiers ranging from free to paid. I have the basic paid version, and they have all different levels from hobbyists to professionals. Quick disclaimer, this is not a sponsored video, but I am an affiliate of Embrilliance and the website I will be using called Designs by JuJu. This is new to me, but it's a great company. I'm going to be telling you all about it a little bit later in the video. Embrilliance. I paid for my copy. One thing I really like about this software, it's pretty easy for me to use. I think it's intuitive. The interface is easy for me to understand. One thing I also really like about it, it's not subscription based. You buy it, you own it. You can also have access to all of the latest updates. It's available for Mac and Windows. I think it's a great company, great smaller company. Here are some of the tiers. Now you can use the Express mode. This is free. And by the way, I will link to everything below in the description box if you want to check these things out. So I have the Essentials version. So here, I'll go through the features of the free version. This is the Express mode. You can type words, names using .bx fonts, and then you can open and save the files for whatever machine file type you have. I use Brother machines, so the file format is .pes. Your machine may be different. So again, it's available for Mac and Windows. And yeah, I've been using this for years, and they do have pretty frequent sales on this version. It gives you a little bit more flexibility, and there's some more features. I do use the features. I used the free version for quite a while, and then finally I decided to upgrade. So this one allows you to merge designs. With the free version, you can't combine designs that you import, and save it into a new file. This one allows you to do that. You can resize designs and recalculate stitches, remove overlapping stitches, colorize, print templates, add lettering, and more, which I like. The overlapping stitches thing is great too. So if you are putting a design on top of another design, it can remove the stitches behind it so it's not, all jacked up. So here's some of the things you can do with the Essentials version. So that's what I will be working with here. And they also have other versions. And what I like too about Embrilliance is that you can upgrade. So if you want to buy one version and then you want more features, there is an upgrade feature. So you don't have to pay for like the whole thing again. You just pay for what you want to use. So they have a lot of different products for different levels. I think it's great. I've been using this company for a long time. Now this is a new to me company, but they reached out. So it's Designs by JuJu. This is a US based embroidery design company, and they have all different designs, alphabets, fonts, projects. They have quilting designs, lots of frequent sales. So I like what they're doing, and we're going to check out some of the free designs. And I'm going to walk you through downloading an embroidery font and then getting it into this software. They're based out of New Hampshire. It's run and owned and operated by a woman named Julie. I did ask. I get approached by a lot of companies that are like, I'm not really sure where they are, and it's a little sketchy, but they answered all my questions. All of their designs are manually digitized. So again, that speaks to the quality, and they go through a process of testing and stitch out, so they have some quality assurance there. And I know we've been sometimes when you're buying like designs on Etsy or whatnot, the quality can be all over the place, but I do like that Designs by JuJu does manual digitizing. They have an in-house team of designers. Most of these designers are in the United States, so I think that's a great thing. I did make some effort to vet this company, and I feel comfortable recommending Designs by JuJu. They also have a lot of their own resources for education. There's a Facebook group, so that if you're trying to, if you're kind of new to embroidery, there's a lot of educational resources that Designs by JuJu offers to help you out with your projects. I think some of the projects look really cute. And I actually thought the designs, I've been approached a lot by different embroidery design sites or companies, and sometimes the designs just really aren't up my alley, so I'm like, whatever. All kinds of different sets. They've got different themes. They have alphabets. So let's take a look at some of the fonts here. Oh, they have applique fonts, applique numbers, alphabet embellishment kits, all kinds of stuff. So let's take a look at some of the embroidery fonts just to give you an idea. They have monograms. Oh, those are cute. I want to try a puff project, by the way. And even though you see these prices, they have an even better sale where if you purchase like a larger amount of stuff, you get a fairly significant discount. So I see a lot of stuff that I really would like to try out. I want to start off with some of the free designs. So I'm going to purchase a few free designs or add them to the cart, and then I'll show you what I do once I purchase them, how to get them onto your computer, save it, and all that. And I have some other tutorials on this type of thing, so I will link to my embroidery playlist down below in the description box as well. So let's take a look. So I want to get this, they have a punctuation set and then this marker embroidery font, so let's click on this. And by the way, I like that this website is very detailed with instructions, what's included. They also recommend Embrilliance as well. So yeah, it says this font includes BX format that can be used with Embrilliance software. So when you get this font, you can get all of the letters individually as your embroidery file. But if you get this BX font, you can just type it out and not have to input each element individually, which would take forever. So that's why I like using the BX fonts. And it also comes, not all fonts come with punctuation. That can be kind of tough. So this is what it looks like. So I'm going to add this to the cart, and then I'll show you how to get it into Embrilliance. All right, so let's add this to the cart. And I'll also add this punctuation set as well. This could come in handy if you ever need punctuation. All right, and I'll also get another. Let's get some other, let's just put something else in there just to show you. This mug rug project looks kind of cool. Let me look for a little cute design. Oh, they've got some just satin stitch circles. They've got some individual elements. We'll download this Portuguese water dog. We'll just grab this just to show you. All right, so let's proceed to the checkout here. Because these fonts and the design are free, there is no payment info required. So I'll just click place order. Here is the next screen. Thank you for your order. And there's a box here that says download design. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so you can download each one individually or you can download all of them together. All right, I'm going to download all of them. Actually, let's just download each one individually. We'll try that. This is kind of interesting. You can choose the format, so you don't have to download all of the file types. You can download just your format. I'm just going to get the BX font. Honestly, I don't really need the other stuff. I have a couple file folders. One is for embroidery downloads, and then the other is for the unzipped designs. So when they save as a compressed file type, so you have to uncompress them or unzip them later. All right, let's get the BX font here. Okay. All right, and let me save the water dog. I'm going to save the dog as a PES file because that is my embroidery file type here. All right, so let's save this. Okay, now we're just on my computer desktop here, and these are the 3 things I downloaded. So on your computer, I'm using a Windows computer. If you are on a Mac, sorry, I am using a Windows PC. All right, so I'm going to right click on the folder and extract all. All right. Extract all here. All right. All right, same for the next thing. Right click and then extract all. And again for the dog, we'll just extract all. Okay. So now you'll see down below, here is all of the unzipped files here. All right, so here is the marker font. And here's like the instructions also, which is kind of nice. So they've got some instructions and whatnot. So again, this is very detailed. So I do really like that Designs by JuJu has a lot of resources to help you out here. And I think this is just a preview. Okay, here's a preview of what it looks like here. And this is the actual font here. So it comes in 6 different sizes from 1/2 inch to 1.75 inch. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to move these unzipped folders into my other folder, which is just for my unzipped embroidery files. So that's what we're gonna do here. I've got a bunch of stuff already, so I'm gonna select all of these folders and move them in here. Here we go. Okay. All right, so now I've got the marker font, the punctuation. Okay, oh, here's the dog. So this is the, all right, here's what the dog looks like. I believe this is this an applique? I think this is an applique. Yeah, pretty sure it is. All right. And this is just like a chart showing you what you have to do and like which, all of this stitch out steps here. What's this? Okay, and these are all of the files here. So this is for different hoop sizes. So this comes with 4 different sizes here. And here are the Designs by JuJu copyright terms. They do have some parameters for users that you do need to read. Now, they do allow you to sell things you make on a personal level. You can't mass produce stuff, but you are allowed to put stuff, except I think the free designs are not included. So the free designs, you actually can't sell things you make, but the paid things you can. I will also link to their terms of service because there is a lot to go over with that if you sell things you make. Okay, so yeah, only designs purchased by you can be stitched on items to be sold. Yeah, so I think any of the free designs, you can't sell stuff you make with it, but the paid stuff you can. They do have some licensing terms. I'm not going to get into all that. Now I've opened up Embrilliance software. This is just a new page here, a new project. There are so many good things about this software. You can change the hoop size. You can do a stitch simulator, all kinds of stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to be transferring in the fonts. All right, here is the folder, and I'm going to shrink it down a little bit just so it's not super huge here. This is the marker font. And you can see here it says BX, so I'm going to click on that. And to get all of these in to the software here to use as a font, all you have to do is select each one and drag it in. So it says the font has been installed. So just do this for each one. Okay. Okay. All right, so now the marker font has been installed. And next up, we will do the punctuation. So here's the punctuation. And you can see it says punctuation BX, that's the file type. And there are 2 sizes, 1 inch and 2 inches. So just click it and drag it just anywhere into this field here. All right, so how do you use it? So here is the Create Letters tool. So click on that. Here's the text box. Type in whatever you want. I'm going to type in, I'll type in like sewing report or something. Okay, just whatever. Enter. All right, and here's all the fonts I have installed already. So you can see I've got quite a few in here. And let me try to find the marker font that I just installed. Okay, oh, here's the punctuation. So there's the punctuation. Okay, oh, I think this is the marker. All right, so this is, all right, there we go. So this is the 1/2 inch marker font. So that's in there now. And if you want to change it, just click on this object and then you can change it. So here's 0.75 inches. You can also rotate this in the hoop. So if this is 5 by 7, you can have it go this way instead. Go any way you want here. You can also do this in the machine as well if you wanted to. All right, let's try the punctuation. So let's create another, letter here, and then we'll do, all right, let's go to the punctuation. So let's do 1 inch. Okay. All right. Here's a question mark. Okay, there we go. Question mark. You can get the @ symbol. So stuff like that. Quotation mark. That's good because not all fonts come with the punctuation, so sometimes that can be handy. And if you want to delete this, just select this object and just delete it. You can also change the spacing of the letters, so you can have it be slanted. Yeah, you can have the spacing be wider or more narrow. All right, word. Okay, oh, you can change how far apart each word is. You can curve things. So you can really manipulate this quite a bit. Oh, here's the default. So if you want to just get it to default, click the 0 here. Okay, so now you're back to just the normal lettering here. And you can also move this around. And if you want to bring it back to the center by default, yeah, center designs and hoops. So just hit this here. Also, you can fit it to hoop. Okay, so you can make it smaller if you want to fit it to the hoop. So now that we've got this going on, I will also show you how to import a design. So we'll try to import that Portuguese water dog. All right, here's the dog. I'm going to click on PES, and I will drag this and drop it into the workspace. Okay, that's a little bit large. All right, yeah, you can also like expand this so you can see each step, or you can not do that. All right, we're gonna get rid of this, and I'm gonna do the 4x4 inch because that was just a little big. All right, so just drag it and drop it in here. All right, you can center it in the hoop, and then you can take the arrows on your keyboard too and like move it around if you want to. All right, move this up, and then if you wanted to get the sewing report letters, all right, let me try to center this, and then I'll move this down with the arrows, so that kind of helps too. All right, so if you want to sort of create a design with multiple elements, you can do this. Move the dog down a little bit. And then here's the stitch simulator. So when you click on this and you move this little bar up at the top, this will take you through how everything will stitch out. So you can see it's doing sewing report first. And now it's getting into the dog. So this is the placement stitch. Tack down stitch for fabric, another one for other fabric. So you can see all of the elements going into the dog. So this is nice because you can actually see in real time how the design is going to be stitched out on the machine. So if you don't like, if there's something you don't like. All right, now I'll show you what happens if you do the remove stitches that don't really make sense here. So say I wanted to put the letters on top of the dog, and actually I would probably switch the order of this. All right, move earlier. Okay, here we go. Not that I would do this, but say I wanted sewing report to be like over the dog here, like let's say I wanted to do it like this. I'm not doing this. You can actually have the design stitch out so that the dog stitching doesn't stitch wherever the sewing report letters are, which is pretty handy. I'll also show you how to change your hoop size. So here's preferences. So here you can change the workspace with which hoop size you want to do. It's like this is 130 millimeter by 180 millimeter, and that's about 5 by 7. All right, I think 4x4 is like 150. Oh, that's 6 by 6. All right, oh, here's 4x4. So 100 by 100 millimeter is about a 4x4 inch hoop, and this is a 5 by 7 inch hoop. Okay, and then hit apply. Okay, so lots of different tools with Embrilliance that I like. I just like the software. Let's see, is it preference? Okay, jumps, overlaps. Okay, here we go. Remove. So you can really customize how the design. So remove overlaps when stitching, saving stitch files. And also you can use this to save cut. You can actually do cut files for an electronic cutting machine as well. So there's a lot of different things you can customize, which is very nice. If I want to save this file, I will go to File and then Save as Stitch and Working. And then I'm going to save it in my embroidery folder here. Okay. And then we'll do sewing report, Portuguese water dog. All right, we'll save this as a PES file, and it'll save the project. Now that I save this, here is the remove hidden stitches button. It's the little scissors cutting through the red thread. All right, so that has removed the stitches behind sewing report. So now when I go to the stitch simulator, you should be able to see, so it'll stitch out the dog first, stitch out the dog, and then you'll notice it is skipping a lot of areas that the sewing report will be stitched over that so that it's not ridiculously thick of a design. All right, so you can see it removed a lot of the unneeded stitches there. So I actually think that's a really nice feature. I'm gonna start a new project here. We're just gonna do lettering. So I'm gonna do new page. We're just gonna do sewing report. Actually, I'll do at sewing report. And that will be the design that we actually test out on the machine. All right, so we will do the marker. Let's see, all right. Let's try, what does the 1 inch look like? Okay, that's a little too big. Okay, let's do point. Okay, this fits on the machine. Here is the stitch simulator here. So you can see. Oh, and if you want to change the color or whatnot, just click on the color here, and then you can change it to whatever you want here. They got pink, purple. You can do whatever you want. This is just how it's previewed, but you can use whatever color. You don't have to use the color that is on here. We'll do black just so you can see it pretty well here. So this is black, but I'm probably going to use white thread when I actually stitch it out. And we will save this as, all right, we'll save this as sewing report marker font test. Okay, so we are saving this. Now you're probably wondering, how do I get the embroidery design from my computer to the embroidery machine? So I've inserted a USB flash drive or a thumb drive, and this is where I keep all of my embroidery designs. The drive is in my computer, and I'm just going to take the file that I'm going to test out, sewing report marker font test, and I'm going to drag and drop it into the USB drive. So it says USB drive H. Yours might say something a little different. That is in there now, and I am just going to safely remove it. I have 2 computer monitors, so I'm moving over to the left side, and you'll see an arrow probably down at the bottom of your menu bar. It says show hidden icons. I'm going to click on that, and then you'll see this little thing that looks like a flash drive, and it says safely remove hardware and eject media. Now you should do that before you remove the flash drive. All right, and you can eject. I have a few different things. I'm going to eject USB disk here. And then once you do that, it is safe to remove, and then you can take out the flash drive and put it into your embroidery machine, and now we're ready to head over there and stitch out the design. Today I am using the Brother PE900 embroidery machine, and I do have some other videos on how to use this particular model. A lot of the Brother machines are fairly similar though, so even if you don't have this specific machine, it may work for you. I've already put the USB flash drive into the machine. I find this is the quickest way to do things, and in order to get your design, click on this little button that looks like a pocket, and then this second button that sort of looks like a little squid or something, that will pull up everything that's on your USB flash drive. May take a second here. You can use the arrows to go through all of the designs. I'm using the 5 by 7 inch hoop. Is this it? Let's see here. All right, and this is my design. So mine is going horizontally through the hoop. You can use the menu to switch it. I'm just going to keep it as is. All right, hit edit, embroidery. All right, and this should take about 13 minutes. You can also change your tension or your end color trim or jump stitch trim. I shouldn't really have to do that. And then this is for where in the design the needle is. So you can actually kind of go back and forth if you make a mistake or whatever. All right, so we are ready to embroider. I've got my sample fabric loaded in and some thread, so we're ready to go here. And I always stop a few stitches in and just trim my loose thread here so it doesn't get in the way. And then we'll continue. All right, and that is the finished design. We just did a test stitch out of the marker font, just with sewing report, and we're going to take a look at the stitching. We'll take a look at the front and the back and see how everything turned out. Took about 15 minutes, felt like forever, but hey, this machine does have the jump stitch trim feature, so that's why it does take a little bit longer, but I don't have to trim any of these little threads on the front, so that is one benefit of this machine. And here's our finished sample at Sewing Report. Real creative there, I know. I used rayon thread. I think it's 40 or 50 weight, something simple, white. So here's how it looks on the front. And this is, again, just a free font from Designs by JuJu. Back could certainly use some cleaning up, but not too bad. And I always use these little curved bent scissors. I do stock these in the Sewing Report Etsy shop if you're looking for a good pair of curved snips. You can get really close to your material without cutting into it. This looks pretty okay on the back, just have to cut these threads. Let's see about the tension. It's a little hard to tell the tension because the bobbin thread is white and the top thread is white, but it seems to be okay, I suppose. Not too shabby looking, if I do say so myself. So this has been a tutorial on how to use .bx fonts and create your own words, sayings, names in the Embrilliance embroidery software, and then bring it over to your embroidery machine and stitch it out. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I also have a lot of other videos here on the channel about how to use embroidery machines and the software. And a quick favor to ask, if you did find value in this video and it provided some helpful information, give Sewing Report a subscribe. I've got lots more videos like this, and I'm putting out more all the time. I'm Jen with the Sewing Report. I will see you again in the next video. And remember, whatever you're doing, make it fun.